So, ladies and gentlemen, this is time. We finally got a bigger balance patch for Mugenics. Almost 3 months since the release date, so maybe a little bit too late, I'm not sure. Well, if we look at the stats, not a lot of people are playing Mugenics anymore, like, more people are playing Isaac. Will this bring some people back? I don't think so, but I'm still interested. What they've done? Maybe they can change the game for a better a little bit. I'm slowly out of it because I'm, well, 200 hours in and there is not a lot for me to do anymore. I'm just very OP. But maybe with these balance changes I won't be so OP anymore. Well, let's see. So we have breeding and house changes. Fix some issues with high amounts of negative stimulation. Okay, not sure what that does. It just says fix some issues. Never had that much of a negative stimulation, so I don't know. Fix stimulation treating birth defects on parents the same as positive mutations. Higher stimulation now decreases the chance of birth defects on parents being inherited. Okay, so if we had a cat with birth defect and with high stimulation, he would still give that defect to his child. But now high stimulation decreases the chance of birth defects being inherited. Well, that's nice. That's nice. The effects of stimulation are now reduced the more inbred a kitten is. Oh, okay. Okay, so this gets rid of the defects, but the effect of stimulation are now reduced the more inbred the kitten is. They nerf inbreeding! That's like my whole house! What do you mean you nerf inbreeding after I inbred for 200 hours? The effect of stimulation are now reduced the more inbreed. But how much? We don't know how much, so I guess that would just have to be tested. Because now I have more than 30 stimulation, I think, and it's pretty easy to pass down abilities and passives, even if they are very inbred. So I don't know how that will change. The chances of inheriting a parent's birth defect are significantly increased the more inbred the kitten is. Oh, okay. So stimulation got like buff, but only if cats are not inbred. Wait, inbreeding got nerfs, so what? So I'm supposed to use stray cats more often to stop the inbreeding? That will make the whole breeding process even longer. It already takes so much time when you have like 50 cats. I don't know if I like this. Mutation stat will no longer reroll any existing mutations or birth defects. Oh, so we can also not put someone into the mutation room if they have a birth defect. They just have it. Mutation stat will only roll simple mutations. +2, -1 stat ones. Until more than 10 mutations. More mutations beyond this will increase the chance of rolling mutations with a hex. Okay, so that's good. So you can get better mutations that have just +1, +2 and stuff. That's good. Heads that have one eye, eyebrow, ear, for example, Cyclops, will no longer also count as the missing birth defect for the other eye. So if you have like one eye mutation, then you are like missing the other one, but we won't count as that anymore. Okay. Chance of inheriting a voice from a parent is now 75% instead of 98. Okay, that's good, because your entire house would just sound the same if you have all inbred cats like I did. So that's good. I like that. But other changes I'm not a big fan of. I mean, sure, they don't want you to have every cat with super luck. Probably that's the reason. They don't want you to have all the same OP mutations. But then it will take even longer to make something useful because you cannot inbred it. So this will just make it more annoying, I think. Okay. Events. Baphomet. Removed bad outcomes from sacrifice and lose 10 HP options. Okay. Okay, so from lose 10 HP, but common could have been party just takes 10 damage and nothing happens. So this is removed. We only have good rare and good common, I guess. And with sacrifice, the cat could just die and give you nothing. Okay. So actually sacrificing is more worth it now. That's cool. Steven Fetus. Remove deja vu from bad event outcome and replace with a new pool of disorders for it. Okay, so the Steven Fetus event won't only give you deja vu now. We'll just give you other stuff. Cool, I guess. Sacrificial altar. Remove bad outcomes from sacrificing cats. Again, okay. Ichis or Wheezies. Ichis now also give a forever flee familiar, and Wheezies now also gives +2 luck. Okay. I would be taking Wheezies. +2 luck is pretty cool. Cerebral Rage. Tragedy no longer only gives Blood Frenzy. Whoa. Okay. That would, like, everyone was pissed about. When I was reading bad reviews from Eugenics on Steam, everyone was pissed about that one. From just randomly getting Blood Frenzy. Which makes sense, because If you kill one unit, there is a big possibility you just kill your entire team, and you couldn't do anything for that event. So that would just piss you off. So that's cool. Infestation weather event. Units now only spawn charm maggots when killed. So infestation weather event was all non-tiny units explode into maggots or flies when they die. So they were enemies, but now they are charm maggots. That's alright. That makes it a bit more bearable. Okay, disorders and parasite. Hypersomnia. Fixed order sleep applies so that passive items affecting sleep can trigger correctly. Okay, so just some bug fixes for hypersomnia. Start each battle asleep and with full health. Okay, so now we can probably combo sleep stuff with something. That makes more sense. Malaria. Now only reduces constitution. Malaria was horrible, no? At the end of each battle, all your stats are permanently reduced by 1. Spawn to a charm to fly swarms when you are downed. If your constitution is 0 or less, start each battle downed. Yeah, this was horrible. And it's still horrible, but I guess it only reduces constitution now. Still can maybe use it if you have something that lets you use your abilities when you're downed, when you're a necromancer, but you just get it when you don't expect it, so still sucks. And now, oh my god, Naegleria Fovleri. Become AI control instead of dead at 0 intelligence. Okay, this one was gain -1 intelligence at the end of each battle permanently. This gains +2 armor, shield, and 1 brace at the end of each battle. If your intelligence is 0 or less, start each battle down. Okay, so instead of being down at 0 intelligence, you're being AI control now. Okay, that's better. At least you have a body that is very tanky. Schrodinger's syndrome. +1 to all stats and gain an extra turn at the start of each battle. Oh, I never got that one. 50% chance to start each battle dead or alive with max HP and all stats up. Okay, but we already got all stats up, so I'm guessing now you get an extra turn too. That's cool. Sociopathy. +2 charisma, you have madness on your first turn. So now I'm guessing it is 5 charisma and 5 intelligence, and you have madness on your first turn. Still pretty good for solo rounds, but yeah, on normal rounds, you never want to have that. It will just kill your team. Cleric. Cleanse is now single target. Range is increased to compensate. Upgrade. Charge to make it hit a large area. Upgrade change to make it hit a large area. Okay, so they just nerfed cleanse and you have to upgrade it to hit multiple units. Okay, interesting. Open wounds now deals magic damage. What does that change? I'm not sure what that changes because this doesn't scale with strength anyway. So if it does magic damage, it already says this is magical damage on units, so it will still be increased by stacks of magic damage, but won't be increased by bruise on target. It already says that. I'm not sure. Druid. Plant mushroom. -2 mana cost. Plant mushroom. Spawn a glowing mushroom and restores mana to nearby units on its turn. Okay, no one ever got that, so I guess it's cheaper now. Summon caterpillar -1 cost. No one ever got that because it's very bad. This is way too slow. Making it cheaper doesn't change anything. Fighter. Merciless no longer triggers during actions that cost movement points. So I guess if you trample with like 10 damage or like jump on something with 10 damage and one trigger now, or with Zoom Zerk, okay, a little nerf to Merciless will still be good. Hunter. Oh, there is a lot for Hunter. Oh my god, how much is there for Mage? Oh, what the... Okay, we have to speed up. Hunter. Ball of Spiders no longer scales damage with dexterity. Ball of Spiders. Ah, okay, this throw a spider egg that spawns 3 spiderlings on impact. It wasn't that good anyway. But now it will do like no damage. Okay. Egg-sack trap -1 mana cost. Spider extra that inflicts infested 4. Yeah, I think this one is bad. So now it costs less, but it's still bad, I think. Flea shot no longer scales damage with dex. Okay. Now flea shot was actually a pretty good one because it scaled with dex. So you just had another basic attack pretty much. And it was able to crit too. So I guess now it deals less damage, a lot less. Heavy shot, -2 damage, 50% miss chance, +1 mana cost. So heavy shot had 70% chance to miss. Now it has 50, so it's easier to hit, but it does less damage and it costs more. I mean, heavy shot was OP because you have a lot of items and also passives that just say you never miss. So if you never miss, that was whatever for you. So now if you have never miss, you do less damage and it costs more. I guess it makes sense, it was kind of OP. But with 50% miss chance, then it's more playable without an item that won't make you miss. Okay, Hunter's Boon. Now only triggers once per turn, but triggers off of any kill and not just enemies. Okay, so Hunter's Boon. Hunter's Boon was giving you 5 mana, I'm pretty sure, for a kill and replenish all your mana with upgraded. So now, so it's a little buff that you can kill your maggot or something to get the 5 mana or restore all your mana, but only once per turn. That's a huge nerf, because some people would do like Fist of Fate, for example, with this. So you just keep killing everyone and have full mana. I mean, I think still is enough getting full mana once with Fist of Fate upgraded. But if you have like Scattershot, you couldn't just spam the entire map and kill everything without a problem if it only triggers once. But still, upgraded restore all your mana once is still pretty good, but it's not completely game breaking. Scattershot, yeah, that's the most OP ability, I would say. Plus 3 mana cost. Ooh, that's a lot. Upgrade no longer exempts allies from its radius. Yeah, so with Scattershot, what was funny, when it was upgraded, yeah, it only says fire a bunch of shots randomly in a large area. But actually, the more important thing about the upgrade was that you are not hitting your allies anymore. It doesn't say it in the game, but you don't hit your allies anymore. So now it doesn't happen, so they don't have to change the description, I guess. Okay, so that is a big nerf for Scattershot. For solo runs, it's still pretty good. I mean, mana cost 10 is bad, and that upgrade no longer exempts allies from its radius also is pretty bad. So for solo runs, doesn't change that much, but yeah, that's a big nerf. I mean, you can still combo it with rubber cement, rubber arrows and stuff on the Hunter's Boom, but having it hit allies actually kind of sucks. So after all of this, I still think Hunter is very good. They didn't touch rubber arrows, so and other passives that give you more crit damage and stuff. I think it's a good nerf or overall, I would say. You have to be more careful with your Scattershot, you can just be using it everywhere. Okay, Mage basic attack, +2 range. Okay, that's nice. Blizzard, rework to deal very high damage with 100% freeze and no slow. Okay, what was Blizzard doing before? I don't know Mage spells because these suck. Deal ice damage in a wide line with knockback 1 that inflicts slow and has a 15% chance to freeze. Okay, so now it always freezes. Like, freezing units sucks though, you cannot do damage to them when you're frozen, so most of the time you don't really want that. Bolt got +2 range, which is a lightning bolt that has a chance to stun. That's actually a pretty good ability. Stunning something is good. Burning Pass, +1 burn, upgrade +2 burn. Ah, okay, so that's the passive one. So your basic action inflicts 2 burn now, and upgraded gives you 5 burn. Okay, it's pretty good. Fire Blast has +2 range. Okay, that's nice. Firebolt, +2 range and +1 damage. Oh, it's this one. Cast a fire electric spell that inflicts burn and has 15% chance to inflict stun in an X-shaped area. So now it actually does a little bit more damage and has more range. Cool. 5. Triggers now exactly 5 mana or HP. Ah, that's when you end your turn with exactly 5 mana, gain +5 shield, temporarily gain +5 kinetic spice and delay the next turn. Oh, so now it's 5 mana or 5 HP. Okay, that doesn't change that much, because how often are you 5 HP? Okay. Forbidden spells now have 2 separate disorder pools. A basic pool, 90% chance, and a crippling pool, 10% chance. Psychosis is in the crippling pool. Luck affects which pool is chosen. Okay, so you are getting, so now 90% chance for not that bad of disorders, but something like Psychosis that probably just loses you the run if you're not solo, is in crippling pool. So still, luck is very important. Okay, but that makes forbidden spells a bit more bearable, I guess. Forbidden Flame is stronger, Forbidden Flood is stronger, Forbidden Frost is stronger, Forbidden Fulmination is stronger. 4 also triggers with 4 mana or HP, doesn't change much. Freeze Burn has attack radius. Ice Pause give more slow and chance to freeze. You can damage frozen units. Oh, okay. So you weren't able to damage frozen units. There was an item from Steven that allowed you to damage frozen units, but now you have it on Ice Pause passive. So actually making Ice Age makes makes sense now. If you have ice balls, if you don't, then it probably doesn't. This gets a little bit more damage. Jolt hit gets +2 range. Inferno now deals 8 damage, 8 burn, upgrade to 12 damage, 12 burn. That's like the AoE one, right? Yeah, this one is pretty good. So now it gives more burn and deals a bit more damage. Cool. Lightning pulse also buffed damage and stanchions. So now instead of +1 electric damage and 10% chance, we have +2 electric damage and 10% chance to stun, which is cool. That will be very good with upgraded, but be careful on the robots, because robots will fuck you up if you use that against them. Light up the stage a little buff, long cast buff, overload buff, shatter cost less, Thunderbolts now deals 12 damage, 50% chance stun. I shoot lightning bolts in a direction, 15% chance to stun. Oh, that's a huge buff. What the hell? Now deals 12 damage and 50% chance to stun, and it had 15% to stun and deal 7 damage. And upgrade deals 16 damage and has 100% to stun. That's pretty OP, what the hell? Again, don't use it against robots, but if an enemy is not a robot, that's very good. But you still have to be careful about your team, because if you hit your team with 16 damage, 100% chance to stun, that's very bad. But for solo runs, this seems very strong. Damn. Okay, so a lot of buffs for Mage. Will this make him more viable? I think so. Attack range +2 is cool, but the problem with it is that you cannot hit over walls and it scales with dexterity, so your basic attack is not that good. The passives for your basic attacks have gotten stronger, but you still have to roll them. I still don't think Mage will be that strong, but he will be better for sure. Okay, now the big dogs. Monk, Fist of Fate Plus. Repeat must hit different targets each time. Oh, okay. So you cannot just click it once on the boss and boss is dead. Okay, that's a huge nerf. That's a huge nerf. For like normal rooms, it will still be very strong because you can, if you can crit from every hit, then probably you're killing an entire room. But not on higher difficulty. Sometimes you have enemies with like 100 HP in normal rooms. But you can still like hit him once, then hit another one and hit him again. But if there is like only one boss, for example, let's say the creator, you cannot just spam the creator, you have nothing else to hit. Okay, so that's a big nerf for Fist of Fate. Chance stance switch. AI control now attempts to use this if it's out of other actions. Oh, okay, yeah. If you played with Steven or Madness as Monk, they will never stance switch. Okay, so now they will. So that's cool. Yeah, Fist of Fate needed a nerf though. It was just one button to win the game. So I guess that's good. Necromancer. Evil Incarnate. -3 mana cost. What is that? 3 mana is a lot. Inflict fear on all enemies. Okay, yeah, it costed 15 and upgraded 12. So now it costs 12 and upgraded it costs 9. Still not that good. Flesh Golem. -3 HP cost per cut to cast. That also like never was useful. You and all allies lose 10 HP. Summon a Flesh Golem with one random spell from each of these units. So now it costs per cut to cast. Now it costs less HP. Cool, I guess. Doesn't change that much. Psychic. Shatter the Sky. -2 mana cost. It's this one. Create a floating glass shards on a tile within your line of sight. Yeah, I think I've never used that. So now it costs less, so maybe it's more viable. Still doesn't sound crazy. Okay, Tank, Blast. Great name. -1 mana cost, +2 knockback. It was this one. Knockback units in area near you, 2 tiles. Okay, yeah, I don't think that one will be used. This kind of sucks. Clap, -1 mana cost. I think there is a lot more you could have changed in Tank. Knock 2 enemies in front of you together. That also was... You didn't have many situations where this could be useful. So, okay, weird that they touched these. So there's a lot more stuff you can touch on Tank. Tank is kind of weak in the late game. Okay. Thief. Caltrops. +1 movement. Upgrade +5 movement. Move up to 3 tiles, spreading glass shards on tiles you walk through. I mean, now it gives you movement, which is cool, but most of the time you have a lot of movement on Thief already, so I don't think you would ever take this over other passives. Nail Flurry Plus. Multi-hit amount is now locked in when the ability is cast instead of updating mid-ability if dex is gained or lost. So the Nail Flurry and Flow State combo is dead. If you didn't know, if you had Nail Flurry and Flow State, when you deal damage to another unit, get +1 strength and +2 dexterity until the end of the turn. So Nail Flurry would just stack itself up with the Flow State, because you throw 10 1 damage nails that ignore shield, but when it's upgraded you throw extra nails equal to amount of your dexterity. So you just get dexterity for every nail and it will just go forever and one-shot everything. So that has been nerfed. Okay. Poison gas +1 poison, upgrade +2 poison. Okay. Doesn't change much. Whatever. Tinkerer basic craft throw. AI is slightly better at sequencing this now. Prefers to craft without wasting movers. Prefers to use weapon before throwing it. Okay, so maybe Steven Tinkerer is a bit better now. We have to test that out. Added blast resistance status effect. Blast resistance added onto EMP, Mr. Mega, Napalm, and the moment Tinkerer passives. Okay, so a lot of blast resistance, so you just kill yourself. That's cool. Throw weapon no longer costs an action to use. Okay, that's actually pretty nice. That's actually pretty good. Bomb Chew cost -2. Like, most of these robots suck, to be fair. Like, Bomb Chew didn't do that much. Now it costs only 5 mana, so that's cool. And 4 when it's upgraded. Build Nuke costs less mana. Conductor now makes your weapon inflict electric damage if you are wearing metal. Okay, Electrolyze -2 mana cost, EMP +1 explosion range, upgrade +2 explosion range, but still, like, against robots you are so bad with Tinkerer. Firecrackers cost less, Lightning Rod now grants tech instead of charge, upgrade now grants energized. Okay, that actually might be huge. You have electric immunity, electric damage you deal is increased by 1, gain +1 charge when you are hit with electric damage. So now you get tech. And more ways to get tech on Tinkerer, that's all we need, so that's cool. Math now deals electric damage plus stance on prime numbers. Upgrade now gives you tech on prime numbers instead of refunding mana. Okay, that's also buff to math. Also gives us a bit more tech, that's good. Mr. Mega, blast radius, napalm burn, rocket ride mana cost. Okay, so these are very good buffs for Tinkerer. Does it mean he's like very strong now? I don't think so. But more ways to get tech, because the most flawed thing about Tinkerer is that you will craft completely shit weapons if you don't get any tech, and you can only get tech from some abilities, now from a little bit more of them. But still, without tech, this character kinda sucks doo-doo. So I guess it's cool. And throw weapon no longer costs an action to use, which is also nice. But still, the tech mechanic should be reworked, I think, because if you don't get any tech, Tinkerer is just completely useless. And that's all from the characters, really? So there is no super lag nerf, no power up nerf. Well, there is still items can be nerfed, right? Wait, eternal eyes are not nerfed? Hitler's suicides can no longer miss. Increase the shield amount on his explosive face. Okay, they're buffing Hitler. I never thought I'd say that one. Hitler's suicide, when he wants to kill himself and he like bombs the entire map, you can no longer dodge that, which is good. Okay, and increase the shield amount on his explosive face. Okay, so it's harder to kill him, so most of the time you have to hide. Okay, added +4 HP to Führer Fetuses. Okay, will be a bit harder to kill. Final boss and his cat clones are banned from rolling the pressing elite buff. Okay, so the creator cannot give you like millions of all stats down when all the copies get it. That's nice. Chaos form change now ignores combat speed setting. It didn't? Wait, so it would just like change faster if I had higher combat speed? I don't get that one. Someone can explain that to me. What? Okay. Added +50 HP to the Coven and Tormentor. Okay. Coven needed the buff. I don't think that's enough of a buff, but still. Who is Tormentor? Ah, okay. Tormentor is the second when he turns. Got it. I plus 50 HP to the Dreadnought's head and plus 2 damage to his legs. Okay, Dreadnought buff. He was very weak. Coven and Dreadnoughts were the weakest bosses by far. I don't think this will change that much, but it will make him a bit stronger. Cursed items and parasites are no longer excluded from its degradation. Oh, okay, because if you had like a positive parasite, for example, you could only have it on one run pretty much, because when you came back they just disappeared. But now they can be worn and can be used again. Okay, that's cool. Head mutation that gives you bonus turn now has -2 speed. Okay, that was a very OP head mutation. So now it got nerfed a bit. Spewer HP nerf to 100. Okay, Spewer got nerf and Stacy base HP buff to 125. Okay, yeah, Stacy was pretty bad and Spewer was a bit strong. So I guess that makes sense. No nerfs to Arthur, to this mother effer. Okay, no changes to other bosses. Okay, that's fine. Other changes fix inventory slots sort order now matches the order shown above the cat. Jester card will always appear at the end of the class list even if unlocked before monk. Inventory furniture alphabetical sort list now use locales for sorting. Change needed for some future language support. Okay, backup button added to shop screens. A backpack button added to shop screens. What does that mean? I don't know. The tooltip for items with active abilities now shows the ability button in the tooltip. Added element indicators to item buttons. Misc tooltip fixes. Okay, just some bug fixes. Loot cancels now all show a fallback cat formula for morale support if you loot with only one cat in the party. Oh, okay. Yeah, see, you only had like a little cloth that would watch you when you did solo run on Act 1. Now you will have them on Act 2 and Act 3. That's cool. New cat vocal sound sets added. Okay, cool. Add a fallback behavior for another type of save file corruption. Some random rolls with 0 to 100% odds will no longer advance the RNG. So the patch wasn't as big as I expected, to be fair. There's some OP stuff like Nail Flurry and Flow State, Fist of Fate, Heavy Shot, and Scatter Shot are like the most important ones. They didn't nerf Super Luck all power up, so my cats are still OP. I don't know what these breeding changes will do though. Because we would need some testing to figure that out. All around, I think the patch is good. I don't think enough stuff was nerfed and enough stuff was buffed. Like, I would nerf Eternal Eyes for sure. They are completely OP, which is an item that gives you 15% dodge chance, gain plus 5% dodge chance each time you take damage. So if you have good luck, that ramps up so quickly and you're just invincible pretty much. But any dodge chance is very strong with super luck, but this one is especially like just OP. I'm not sure how to feel about these inbreeding changes though. We'll see how that goes. But all around progress, I think. But I think it's a bit late. As I said, not that many people are playing Eugenics anymore. I don't know if this will bring me back. I might wait for the DLC and see what happens. I already have a lot of hours in the game. But yeah, that was the patch note. So yeah, I might be streaming Saros tomorrow if I figure out the capture card and stuff. So yeah, if you want to watch that, come by. We'll see you then.